Okay, hello everyone. This would be our lecture video for chapter 2, refreshing the skills on office productivity application. Okay, so what this video would aim to achieve is a demonstration of the different things that has been presented in your book. Okay, so we'll be focusing more on the demonstration since most of the material already presented to you the necessary reading. Okay, so kanilang is the demonstration. Okay, the demonstration part. So again, Microsoft Word is one of the three most commonly used applications sa Microsoft Office nga suite. Okay, so we have Word, we have Word for our word processing, we have Excel for our spreadsheet application, then we have PowerPoint for our presentation software. Okay, so Microsoft Word is a very popular word processing application used to create documents, letters, and brochures. So if you have been required to submit a typewritten form of document, most likely you have been using this Microsoft Word application to create such document, then to be printed out in a hard copy. Okay, this application uses the .docx or docx file extension. Okay, so you get to see this file in your computer nga na ay .doc or .docx. So if not, naa po siya icon that is na siya murag W na symbol, okay, sa inyong computer. Now, aside from the .doc and .docx file extension, there are many different file types that Microsoft Word as an application can open. But most of the time, you would be dealing with the .doc and the .docx. Okay? Especially if you're using the latest or the more recent version of Microsoft Word, so .docx na siya. So here is the user interface. Later on, we get to see the different aspects of this user interface when we are in our actual demonstration. Okay, so the quick access toolbar, okay, the quick access toolbar, by the name suggests, this is where the most commonly used commands, okay, would be found. Okay, you could actually able to change this, but there are default options there, kanang mag-save, mag-undo, mag-open, so nana diha. Okay, so the second is kaning number 2, okay, that would be the title bar. Okay, of course that would be showing the name. Okay, makita nato diha ang name sa tong document, then word, okay, which stands for that you are opening your the program that you're using is the Microsoft Word application. The ribbon, okay, kaning ribbon, that is number 3, okay, ribbon tabs and menu tabs, okay, this is where your commands, okay, most of the commands in according to their category would be shown, okay, or would be located. Okay, if you get to see, I will be presenting to you. Okay. Okay, so I hope it's clear. So, nata dere, di ba? We have here the quick access toolbar, di ba? Napo dere ato ang title bar. Then we have here kani sila, okay? This is what we call our ribbon tabs. Okay? In each tab, okay, there are specific commands that are organized based on that tab. Okay? So sa home, similar to how we have here the most commonly used command, okay, kani diri po nato makita ang uban pag yung command nga most likely you would be using when you are creating a document. Okay? So kaning area na dere that will change whenever you click on a tab, mao na ni atong ginatawag nga ribbon. Okay? So that is the ribbon here. So kani. So number 4 is the ribbon. 5 and 6, these are the ruler. Okay? So kaning ruler, this is used, okay, pares the same way how we use ruler in real life. This is used to align, okay? Align your document. Okay? Sometimes you want to align it in a specific word. Okay? So nga na. Okay? You could indent. So diha na ito magamit ang indent, ang ato ang alignment sa ato ang mga paragraph. Okay? So by default, if you get to check on if newly open Word document, okay, in my case, wala tayong makita nga ribbon. Okay? So, how do you want, if you want to see that ribbon, okay, just click on, or not ribbon, if you want to see that ruler, okay, just click on the view. Okay, notice, nag-change ang ribbon diha. So, just click on the view tab, then you'll get to see here a checkbox nga natay ruler. So, nanaday na to makita ang tuang ruler. Okay? So, kamo na to ginagamit nga ruler is kani. You'll notice that the location of our insertion point, okay, will change depende kung unsa to ang gina-adjust dere. Okay? This is what we actually call an indent tool. Okay? So that you are using that if you want to change the indent of a certain paragraph or sentence or any part of your document. Okay? So napud tay document area. So most of your work are done here, okay, or will appear here in our document area. Kaning page preview kani siya. Okay, this will enable you to view your document in different views, okay, or different manner. Okay, you could read it in a print layout, okay, so let's see what are the different views. Okay, so naatay print layout, okay, napod tay reading mode, okay, then napod tay web layout. Okay, so different views, okay, or page preview will affect the appearance of your document, but not in a way that when you're going to print it, okay, malahi pod, okay, it's not primarily used for editing, okay, it is primarily used for just changing the view, okay, of your document. Okay, so kana. Next is ato ang zoom control. So, number 9 is ato ang zoom control. Then, ato ang 10 is vertical scroll bar. Okay. 11, there's still actually an 11 here that should be our horizontal scroll bar. Okay. So, going back to our Word application. So, nata dere, makita nato dere nga side. Okay, ang ato ang zoom. Okay. So, it will make the view of your document will, okay, zoom in or zoom out, okay, depende sa inyo ha. So, ang inyong scroll bar, okay, will appear depende pod kung unsa ang zoom level sa inyong document. Okay, you'll notice here na ay na generate diri nga scroll bar. Okay, kana. So, skills in Microsoft Word. Okay. So, the skill that is being presented here is mail merge. Okay. So, depende kung saan na inyong naagian, but mail merge is one of the most essential feature in Word. Okay. More practical. One of the more practical, more essential feature of Word. So it is an essential feature in Word because it can let you send the same document, email, or letter to different people simultaneously without editing the specific document. What it means by this is, let's say you are trying to invite a group of people nga sa inyong document pag yun, okay, sa inyong document is ma-specify pag yun ang ngalan individually. Now, instead of manually editing that individually and printing that out every time, okay, you could actually use what we call mail merge. Okay, mana siya kwaon, okay, it would try to it will retrieve a list of names. Later on we'll get to demonstrate that, a list of names, then iyahan nang i-populate. Okay, so the application would then, you could actually print that in a manner nga mag-print siya but every document is different. Okay? In a way nga magpakita na dito ang mga names sa mga tao nga inyong padalaan. Okay? So, mail merge can also help you create certificates. So, diri gyud pinaka-common ginagamit. Himog certificate, di ba? So, this is to certify that participant. So, naman gyud yung ngalan. Okay? So, in order for you to individually provide these names without manually editing that one by one, so, mail merge itong ginagamit. So, can help you create certificates for attending the same event or gathering bulk names and addresses for envelopes and labels. So, common gihapon na application. So, these are probable because mail merge provides a directory that lists a batch of information. So, for example, a student in a specific class. Okay, let's say di ba kung sa una, if nakapas mo na guidance nga ipatawag mo guidance or na orientation, so ideal ni siya nga scenario since it would be addressed individually but ang magbalik-balik ra ang content, malahi lang isang ngalan, okay, ang ID number ang college or ang course, okay, college or course na. So, mail merge is in the ribbon tab mailings. This menu contains 5 command groups: create, start, mail, write, kana. So, let's check on that sa tuang Word application. So, makita daw siya sa mailings. Okay? So, natay makita diha. We get to see natay create nga tab, natay start mail merge, natay write and insert fields, then natay preview results, then finish. Okay? So, you can observe the first time without starting mail merge. So, clicking on the mailing tab, there are only few enabled tools, di ba? You know that a certain tool is enabled if nasa color. Kani mga mura grayed out area diha, you could actually not click that. Okay? Oops. Dito na matuplok since that is not enabled. Okay? So, kani nga mga enabled at first, mao niyang enabled nga mga commands. So, first is we create envelopes. Okay? So, in order for you to do that, you click on the envelopes from the create command. So, after that, the envelopes and labels will pop up. So, supply the information needed to try information needed. So, let's try on clicking on that. Okay? So, nata diha. So, we'll be using the same example as in your book. Marriott. So, 2020 American Boulevard E Bloomington, five 425 United States. So we have the delivery address, then we have the return address. Okay. So after supplying the needed information, you can click the add to document or print if you want to print it already. So after clicking the add to document, the layout of the address information will look like this. Okay. So tahin mo on, let's click on add to document. You want to save? Yes. So you'll get to see, okay, automatic na provide na diha. Okay. So, actually, this still doesn't cover the mail merge aspect, okay, of the discussion, but this is a very important step, okay, if you are planning to create mails, okay, di ba, when you are trying to create a mail na ay mga specific format nga gina-require ang post office ana. So this is you could easily do this without uh, manually editing this, di ba? Nag-supply lang mo og information, automatically nalahi na ang iyahang size sa ato ang document, okay? Then na-provide na in the correct location ang inyong addresses so kana. So you can continue using labels in the labels tab, then type the address information you want to duplicate. Okay? So, click on labels. So, pwede pa nato na malahi. So, let's say we are going to change this. Ingani. So, miss. Again, this I am following what is being written in your book. I highly suggest that if you have access to a computer, you try this out, okay, to check if you get to demonstrate or replicate the same task. E puhon magamit ng po ninyo ni, let's say if pahimuon mo yan. So this could also considered be an added skill in your resume or portfolio. Okay, so if I'm going to click on the next step here is you can click the option to edit the number of copies the label will be printed. So try selecting 30 per page from the options menu as seen in the image below. Okay, so tuplok ko daw ang options, then butang ta diri og 30 per page. Then click on, after click okay, please click new document. Okay, so magtuplok ta diri og okay. Then once we click on new document, so you'll get to see, okay, we could create labels. So itong kanina, okay, and more on envelope to siya nga layout, kani more on labels. Okay, labels, you get to commonly use this if you want to label things up. Okay, so let's say magbutang mo mga ngalan sa mga participant, butang nimo imong ngalan since this is a duplication. Okay, you want to label your things nga imuhang property, so pwede nga na butang mo ngalan, butang mo og sa ngalan sa inyong office, then immediately you are presented with this layout na dayon. Okay? Kana. So it will now look like you created a table with 30 cells on it. So your label documents will now look like this. So you can put borders or adjust the layout using its table navigation. Okay? Just click on Control if you want to print it. Okay? So pwede na to ni malahi dere. Okay? So pwede na ay border as you get to see. Okay, na. Of course you could readily print this out. So next is, okay, the mail merge. So mail merge provide an option that about what you document you're creating, letter, email, messages, envelope, and label which already started. So if you don't have difficulty, kasi I'm just skimming through the material. So kani diretso na ta sa ato ang first step. So to start with, well, let's open a new document. So from the Start Mail Merge tab, click Select Recipients. Okay, so going back to Mailings, then Start Mail Merge. start mail merge tab, okay, click on the select recipients kana, then type a new list. So kibali mao ning listahan sa mga tao nga imong gusto padalan nga mo'y mag-reflect ang ilang mga ngalan and other information sa document nga inyuhang pang-reproduce. Okay? So let's customize this. Okay? Customize column. So click the customize column in order to edit the field names that will be filled out. Importante nga makabalo mo unsay mga sakto nga mga ngalan ani kay mao ni inyong gamiton later on if you are going to edit your document. Okay? So for this example, you could delete other field name except for the following. So diri daw panason ang address line 1. So you should click then delete. Click yes to that. Address line 2, again based on the book that is being provided to you, or that provides the information that I'm demonstrating here. So wala na siya, then wala on pud ang home o work phone. Okay? So pay wala on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I believe man na. So once that is settled, click on OK. So makabutang na dayon ta diri og mga ngalan. Okay, but before that, if you could delete, you could actually add and you could rename. So let's say ang kaning, again, you could customize that. You could change this company name. So based on your book, you should rename that to course. So you get to see na change na siya diha, then na change siya diha. So let's supply the fields. So Miss, you could quickly move across the field, okay, by clicking on tab. Okay, I'm pressing tab here, so it would move to the next cell. Natalie Joy Galia, I think this is Bachelor of Science in Information Technology, City Maramag, State. So 8713, email address as that nataliejoy.kalia@semu.edu.ph. Okay, you can click on new entry to add more. Galia, Bachelor of Science in, let's say, home economics, Valencia City. Oops. And then Bukidnon. So let's say 8709. s.florimay.galia@cmu.edu.ph. Then lastly, oops, we need to press on new entry. Mr. Alexander, I think that's Draymond. No, should not be here. That's the title. Alexander Draymond. Let's say Bachelor of Science in, let's say, Civil Engineering. So Cebu City, State, Cebu, zip code, let's say 6,000, then s.alexander.draymond at cmu.edu.ph. Okay, so once that is being done, okay, tulo na ka entry based on your book. So click on OK. Kana. Here you are prompted to save the list. Okay, since this would actually create a file. So we could save it as enrollment dot. Okay, we could just save that as is enrollment, or we could add .mdb. So save. Kana. So after saving the .mdb file, nothing will appear in your document. Okay, di ba? Wala na lista diha. But you'll get to notice nga nanay na nga enable nga mga command groups. Okay? So, to start with, okay, to actually use the mail merge application, of course, we need to create a document that is ideal for this. So, based on your book, okay, naay murag letter dira nga ipahimo. So, we'll just be replicating that. So, Central Mindanao University. I'll just replicate this as close as possible. Muswan Ramag Kidnon, Office of the University Registrar. So, kana. So, dear. So, kani mga blank lines, this would actually serve as later the placeholder of the names that should appear on your document. So, of congratulations, you are now officially, that should be officially, you are now officially enrolled. I think that should be officially enrolled to of Central Mindanao University. So please wait for your certificate of registration with your subject schedule and room number to be sent to you in your email. So, sincerely, Joy. So, kana. So, you intend to send this in a multiple number of students, each specifying their name, okay, there, I believe this is the address, okay, then the course, then the email. Okay, so how are you going to do that using mail merge? So going to the next step would be all about the command group under the write and insert fields. Okay, so natay direta mag kubi. Make sure to place the cursor in the part of your personal where your personal information is necessary. In this example, highlight the blank beside the dear kana. Kani mga blank areas, you need to know what you're going to provide here. Okay? So, dere, we would actually be deleting this. Okay? We'll be replacing that. So, you click on insert merge field. Then, unsa man ito ibutang diha. So, that should be the title. Okay. So, let's say, Mr. So, na. Then, iyahang ngalan. Then, ang iyahang first name and iyahang last name. Okay. Be sure na nanay space diha. You'll notice na kung mag-highlight pod mo ani dere, you could not update, could you delete that? Okay, you could actually delete that. But, be careful not to delete any of this kay mao ning basihan later kung mag reproduce ta sa tawang mailings. So from city, okay, so from city of city of, then zip code, space, state, period, diri, officially enrolled to course, kana, of Central Mindanao, dayon, email, dayon, diri, kana. So kaning, so ang timailhan na dayon ninyo sa mga fields nga maglahi depende sa ngalan is kanina ay mga naay words nga naay pair of less than or greater than. Okay? Kana. So are you going to check if mao ba gyud ang mahitabo? Okay? What you can do is you click on preview results. So notice, di ba? Nalahi siya. So this would be the first, the order of appearance would be depende kung giun sa ninyo pagsulat dito sa inyong listahan. Okay? So just click on this button here to navigate, di ba? Na. Okay? So nga na lang kasayon ang mail merge. Okay? If you're going to print this out, what will happen is it will actually print three documents, okay, of each copy. One copy each, okay, depende sa inyo kuan, but by default usa na. Ang importante ring nga distinction is lahi-lahi na dayon siya per copy. Okay? So naa para kay Natalie Joy Galia, naa para kay Flory May Galia, naa pod kay Alexander Draymond. So mao na ang mail merge. So next is, okay, we'll talk about citation and references. Again, a common application when you are, especially if you are dealing with sales, your project, di ba? You're required to cite your references, provide citations sa inyong document. Now, so plagiarism, as we all know, is a crime. So it is punishable by fines of anywhere between $100 to $50,000 and up to 1 year in jail. So it is important to properly cite the statement that they're using in your writings. So Microsoft Word offers an amazing citation feature that found under the reference tab, could be found in the references tab. So you can then find there the insert citation for in-text citation, manage sources for editing, and so on. So first is, okay, let's type first a statement. So let's type the based on your book murag kani. Okay, let us type this statement here. So para na tayo magamit nga citation. Plagiarism is a crime, okay, by Cruz is punishable by fines of anywhere between $100 and $50,000 and up, let's finish that, and up to 1 year in jail. Okay, so let's say you want to cite this, okay, kani. So make sure to type the statement you copied before adding the author for the citation. Okay, well, I believe this is not a necessary step. Let's check if automatic ba ni ma-generate once we fill out the we fill out the wizard, okay, for our citation. Is a crime plagiarism is a crime. let's, I think kulang to dito. According to kana. So dapat diri mabutang nato ang ngalan ni Kreutz. So make sure to type the statement you copied before, adding the author for the citation. So start the insert citation by just clicking, okay, by just clicking the citation inside the citation. Okay, so if you get to see here, okay, wala mo, I think wala ko napakita earlier, but ako aning gi-type, I have typed this, then diri na tayo ipakita ang kadtong citation. Okay, so you click on insert. Is that insert? Or that reference. Okay, so insert citation, then add new source. So kana. So type of source, this is actually a website. Okay, na website diri. So ang author is Robert Kreutz. So name of the web page, plagiarism punishment. Name of the website, authenticate. Oops, napaunta. But you get to see automatic na siya nakuan. Let's edit this. Let's delete this. Isa ha. So you get to see once you provide the window or the wizard, automatic na i-generate, but I have ended that preemptively. So tagdugang website Robert Kreutz, name of website plagiarism punishment, authenticate, year 2010, oops, month June, day 23, June 23. Let's try searching this out. Plagiarism punishment. Plagiarism punishment. Okay, let's say for the sake of this example, let's say mao ni siya nga URL. So to paste that kana. So once all the necessary fields are completed, click on OK. So magpakita siya. So the details will of course depend on the information you filled out. Okay, you could actually let's try editing this out. So pwede raman edit source. Edit citation. No. Convert citation. Okay. So kani. Let's so what I'm trying to achieve here is I'm going to replicate I'm trying to erase the plagiarism punishment here. Gusto na ko nga ang apelido lang, but I guess one way of doing that is you change this, convert citation to static text, then erase this. So, of course, since you have your citation, you want to display the bibliography. Okay? So, you can do that by, after citing the sources to several statements from other authors, it is now time to place the list of reference that was used for the citation in your article. Just click on the bibliography under the citation and bibliography. So, natay bibliography dere. So, makapili tayong tag unsa to ang gamitan. So, let's click use the reference. So, kana. Well, I think na ay usa ka citation dere nga dili kinahang ang sayop kay I believe kani. Of course, we get to erase, we can erase that. Okay? I think this is the erroneous one. I think we could delete this. Oops. Manage source. Kanay. Okay. So I was trying to find a way to delete erroneous entry. So since kaning una is sayop na tana, so I guess I could delete that. Delete po na tana. Okay. So now that erroneous entry is omitted. Okay, pwede na siya magpakita sa tuang every time we want to cite. So, kana. Okay, next, we'll be dealing with section breaks and page number. So, first is, let's say we want to create a page in which the first page not necessarily is the first page in your Word document. So what I'm trying to say here is, let's say you have here, so like this, okay, so you have here, let's say, a title for a certain book, then you want that the page numbering will start from the second page. Okay, so we can do that by using section breaks and page numbers. So first is place the cursor after the text of the first page. Okay, so let's say we have the last kingdom. Here is the Last Kingdom, then by Bernard Cornwell. So padaka na ito ni gamay. So dito bold. So we want that we start with we start numbering with the second page of this document. So what we need to do first is we place the cursor after the text of the first page. So mao ning pinaka last nato nga text sa to ang first page. Then under the layout tab of the command group page, so we go to here, click breaks, then under section break, click next page. Okay, so layout na breaks diha ang command, then naatay next page. So you'll notice that we now have a second page. So what we're going to do next is to create the appropriate page numbers. So the cursor must be on the other page. Okay, so nata diha. Then insert page number from the insert tab under the header and footer command group. Click page number. Okay, so we need first to go to insert, Okay, then page number under the header and footer nga command group, then we click on bottom of the page, then plain number 2. Okay, so now we have pages, but you'll notice nga naapay, okay, naay pages dere, then naay pages naay page dere sa first, then dere we want nga usara. Okay, so what we can do is next is under the navigation command group, okay, be sure nga naka-select mo dere, okay, sa ikaduha. You click on the link, okay, you disable this option here, link to previous. Okay, so if you're going to press that, okay, so na-link na siya. What we can do next is we could delete this. Okay, here we just click on the page number here, then we click on format, page format. So dere, so we go back to the insert tab, page number command here, then format page number, then we click on start at 1. So notice nabutang na ng 1 diha, still na pang 1 diha, you could just simply delete that. Okay, so if you look into your document, okay, na diha. So once you insert, let's say, another page, okay, let's say insert page break. Okay, so I'm just doing here, I'm just creating here another document showing you nga automatically if you want to continue, okay, numbering that, so magpadayon na siya. Okay, so if you want that another page is on a different orientation than the other pages or the previous page, you can go to, okay, again, layout, breaks. So the same procedure initially, diba? Natay breaks the next page. So let's say if you want to have this in a different orientation, okay, so you go to, okay, the page orientation, kanina rin, page sa the page orientation, then click on landscape. You'll notice nga lahi na iyahang orientation, okay, from portrait na mo na siya og landscape. Okay, so again, you need first to do the command breaks. Next page, okay, section break gihapon, then go to orientation, then landscape. Okay, dili na pwede nga, let's say let's say mag-enter lang ta, then orientation, landscape. You'll notice nga all those pages nga nag-start atong layout breaks next page nga command, okay, will apply the orientation. So if you want nga dito lang, okay, do not use kaning mag-enter ta, kay iyahan nang include sa iyahang adjustment. So if you want nga, let's say ang page, okay, ang page 4 is portrait na, so what you can do is again break next page, okay, so nata sa page 4 orientation portrait. So you'll notice nga kanirang page 3 ang naka landscape. Okay, so that's it. Next is ato ang table of contents. Okay, So the code, assuming that you have followed the previous step, okay, ato aning himuog landscape balik te. Portrait, I mean. Okay. So let's say following your lecture notes or your book. So we have here the Last Kingdom, then naatay table of contents. Then sa second page, after that we have chapter 1. Chapter 1. Then there we have chapter 2. Then let's create another page. Insert a layout, breaks, next page. We have 2, pilay ko lang 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, upat. So we'll need to do replicate this 3 more times. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we have chapter 2. Oops. Chapter 2. Chapter 3. Then chapter 4. Chapter 5. Chapter 5, then chapter 6. So we now have a total of 'Pila ka pages? 1. Okay. Medyo na-revert ta sa to ang we want this to be unlinked to the previous, then we layout, insert page number, format page number, start at 1. Okay, then somehow nabalik ang numbering sa title. Okay, okay, so we want to create what we're trying to achieve here is to automatically generate a table of contents. So the next thing to do is to set every header to a heading 1 start in chapter 1 to chapter 6. So what you need to do is good dere himuon na to na og okay heading 1 sa iyahang styles. Okay, so kana. Okay, if you want to change the text, let's say gusto to i-bold, okay, you can do so. Bold, then layo na to ang iyahang color. Na, pwede ra. So applying the same. So chapter 3, heading 1, change that to bold. Kana. Heading 1, change that to bold. Oops. Chapter 5, change that to heading 1, have it bold, change the font type, font color, so heading 1, font color, kana. So now we have set all the chapters here to heading 1. So you'll notice that naa siya, every time we hover that, naa siya murag arrow diha. That indicates to have performed this step here. So now place the cursor to the page that you want to place your table of contents. So let's say dere. So nato diha i-generate. So what you want to do is you click on references. Okay, so under the table of contents, so you could click on this command here. You could either use kane or kane. So let's say let's select this first option here. So makabalon makita day nato nga okay mao ni. So nakita na niya nga chapter 1 is page 2, chapter 2 is page 3. So without you manually doing this, okay? So kana may nakatsada ani. So you could actually perform this step last. Okay? After you have created your document, so diha na dayon nato maka-generate og table of contents. So pwede pa nato ni either you could delete this or we could delete this. Kana. So that is how you're going to automatically generate your table of contents. Okay, you need first to set the different headings of your page numbers to a style. Okay, so sa heading 1 nga style, then you follow you are going to click on this command under sa references, table of contents, then family diha. Okay? So kana. So now let's move into PowerPoint. So Microsoft PowerPoint is an office productivity presentation application software. So it has many purposes. It helps you to organize your presentation. So kabalo na mo ani, you are most likely using PowerPoint when you want to present something. The same here. Okay, I'm using PowerPoint to present to you this demonstration. So for the user interface, so let's have here. So let's open. Let's say PowerPoint presentation. Kana. So sa user interface na to, we have here almost the same set of interface sa to ang Word, but nalahi lang ang dire. Okay? So you still have your quick access toolbar here, your title bar here. Okay? So your slide navigation is kani dire. Okay? So let's say you have multiple slides there. So dira. We have there your slide navigation. Number 4, slide number indicator. This tells you, okay, if kabantay mo na ay number na ay page numbering dere, okay. Slide 3 of 5 tells you that you are currently under the third slide of the total of 5 slides. So number 5, slide pane. So kani, this is your slide pane. So ang ato ang notes, okay, the notes pane is na dire. Okay, so you could actually enable this. Let's say during your presentation, you want to read text here that is not actually included in your presentation. This serves as a note kibali. Okay, mura lang og additional reminder that you need to tell your presenter that there is this statement. So nga na, mura lang siya o guide sa inyo ha. to aid you in your presentation, but it is not included in the actual presentation, okay, when you're going to present this to a larger audience. So diri na po tayo comments. Okay, you could actually post some comments sa part sa atuang presentation. Okay, so let's say we want to add a comment here. So new comment, third page. So you'll notice nga it's not actually part of the presentation, but again, similar to this, okay, let's say na yung mga correction yung ipahimo sa inyo ha, then you could add comments, then nada yung magawas na comments pane diha. Okay, but seldomly you do not use this. Seldomly do you will use this, especially if ikaw ray gahimo. Okay, but it's also good to use if let's say gusto gid niyo madumduman nga kana dapat editan later, so you can make use of comments. Okay, so we could delete that if you want. So number 8 is your slide view options. So we have here different types of views when working with this presentation. So natay by default, natay normal view, natay slide sorter, then natay reading view. Reading view is similar to presentation view, but it's contained in a window, in a small window. So pwede ninyo na pagamyan. If you want just to check if nag-apply ba inyong mga animation, inyong mga transition, and so on. So you can click on here to go back to the default work view. So number 10, vertical and horizontal scroll bar. So kani. Horizontal scroll bar will appear if the view of your slide is mas zoomed in, that warrants you to use this to view other areas that are not included sa pag-zoom ninyo. So we also have rulers. Okay, rulers, the same with Word, it's not on by default, but you can go on to view, then enable ruler. So na siya. Okay, again, it aids you in aligning different objects in your slides. Then ribbon tabs and the menu bar, so the same ra na dere. Of course, commands that are specific in creation when creating presentation. So kaniya to ang ribbon dayon. So we have here the user interface of your Microsoft PowerPoint. So starting the presentation, so you can click on, okay, let's say click in new blank new presentation. Okay, click on new if you want to work on existing, okay, existing ng mga templates. So you can just browse through here. Okay, na diha dyan ang mga themes na to. So let's say we want to choose this theme here. Kani. Okay, so once you are decided with what color, let's say kani, then you can click on create. So now you have this theme to work with. So if you want, let's say sample, so if you want to create a new slide, okay, if you want to create it quickly, you could just press Ctrl M. So hatagan na mo ana og default na slide. But if you want nga makapili pa mo og additional nga layout, you can click on new slide. Then you get to choose here unsa inyong gusto nga style. Okay, I think by default it's title and content. Okay, but you could choose the different set of layout that is associated or is bundled together with this theme. Okay, let's say kana. So if you want, let's say, to insert a picture, okay, if provided to you by the theme, pwede na nga magtuplok ta dere, automatic na niya na ihatag sa inyo ha. Or if you want to do that manually, okay, you can click on insert, then na ay mga option dere. Let's say you want to insert images, pictures, so nara na diha. So you have there many options to choose from. Now if you want, let's say title here, butang tag picture. Kana. Let's create a list. We're going to do next is let's just use the example that is being provided. Let's create just a default Microsoft Word. So Microsoft Word is a very popular word processing application used to create documents, letters, brochures, and etc. So there are different file types in which Microsoft Word can open. So according to Hope, the following are the file types that can be opened by this application. Okay, let's change it to an ordered list. .doc.m .docx .m .x .htm .html .mht .mhtml. So let's say kana. So if you want to create an animation for this, okay, or a movement for per object here, or as a part of your content here. So you want, let's say you want to select this, kana. Then you go on to animations, then you can select, okay, you can select the different animation. So let's say under the advanced animation, we click on the add animation. You could actually do that immediately here, but you could select more here. So let's say float in kana. Or you want nga kung gusto niyo tags, if you'll notice, okay, na wandering meaning that all of this applies one animation. Okay, so if you want to separate line by line, okay, then let's try add animation, then float in kana. You do not highlight it all, just click on the first part where you want to start to apply that animation, then iyan na din ang i-detect per list, per items in that list kung sa ang iyahang ang mga animation individually. Okay, you'll notice kana siya separate yung mga numbers na dayan. Okay, so that's actually it for the Microsoft presentation, PowerPoint presentation ng software. We'll discuss next Microsoft Excel. So Microsoft Excel is a software that aid more than the calculator. Okay, some commonly use though Excel is used primarily for calculation, it is actually more powerful than that. Okay. So for our user interface, so we have here the name box. Kani. So the name box tells you what is the name of the currently selected cell or cells. Okay? So let's say kani. Instead of you manually targeting that, nga na inyong manumanuhon o intersect diha, you could just check on the name box here. So E10 na siya. If you select, nga na. So here, even though you selected multiple, okay, multiple cells here, it will only tell you the name of the first, okay, of the first cell that is being selected. So in this case, D5. So notice puti po na siya diha. Okay, kana. This is actually used for naming individual cells. Or when you're selecting a range of cells, so ipakita niya diha kung unsa ang name sa start sa cell that you selected. So formula bar, okay, diha na to makita ang formula inside the cell. Okay, most of the time you do not see the formula here, but you kaning diri sa to ang actual nga spreadsheet, you'll see there the result of the formula, and if you want to check on the formula, na diha sa formula bar. So to ang sheet tab, mao ni siya. Okay, by default you have one sheet, but of course you could add more sheets. So we have here the rows. So kana, these are the horizontal spaces kani siya sa inyong spreadsheet. Then we have here columns, the vertical spaces. Then of course we have the cell, we have the title bar. Then we have the quick access toolbar, horizontal scroll bar, then vertical scroll bar, page views, sinadere. So we have here command groups, sinadere. Okay, different command groups, clipboard, font alignment. Then we have here the ribbon tabs. Then finally, we have the zoom control. So there are limitations sa ato ang depende sa version sa Excel, so na yung mga limitation. So here are the limitations. So di nato na discuss more into details. So different types of cursor. Okay? So kani ingani nga cursor, you'll notice nga mara siya og white nga tambok nga cross, that is for general select. So when you are selecting, ingana iyahang itsura. Different mode of a cursor has different functionality. Okay? Kaning course, if you're going to move this cursor to a corner of a cell, you'll notice nga muniwang siya nga itom. Okay? This is actually used to fill the data. Okay? When you fill the data, murag inyuhang let's say inyuhang ginakopya. Let's say we have the word 1 here. Okay? If you want to, let's say tag 1. Okay? So if you want nga, let's say you want to continue numbering, you could actually start typing 1 and 2 for the cell. For the cells that you want to start a list with, then you could select that, then ingani. So just an application for this type of cursor fill data. So atoan nang navigate diha until ingana yung itsura, then you could click and drag, hold and drag, then release. Let's say pag ana, so automatically ma-generate siya. So that is one application. I think you cannot do that if you're just clicking on, if you're going to type in 1. So yung himuna na is, if mo nang i-select, it will only copy. Okay, you'll also know kung say content ana nga ma-generate if let's say A, B. While you are holding that, you'll notice nga naay murag, di ba? Naay murag letter B. Okay. So what it will do here is it will not create automatically an ordered set of letters. So let's say nga nila 1, 2. Okay, so makita ito nga sunod ani ang cell ani if you're going to release that is ang yung content kang bubutang is 3, diri kay 4, 5, nga na 6. So kaning I-beam nga cursor, okay, you could actually enable this by either going to a formula bar here. You'll notice ang iyang cursor is murag I na, or here. Okay, so this I-beam cursor, this will be blinking, okay, which tells you that once you start typing, diha mag butang ang inyong gipang type. So you should be mindful of where that is located. Okay, so you could do that. Okay, you could double click if you want to start typing here, pwede diha. Or let's say taas kay inyong formula or inyong data nga ibutang, so you could actually still type here sa tuang formula bar. Ana. So ato ang mouse pointer, that is actually that will happen to the cursor if you're going to view to the menu, across the menu. So you'll notice nga normal na siya nga arrow nga pointer. Ang column resize mouse pointer is, by the name suggests, it will be enabled if you want to resize your column. Okay, let's say gusto natin na ipagamyan. So you just hover your cursor dire sa atong line in between two columns. You'll notice nga mura siya og naay arrow sa left and right, indicating that once you're going to click and hold this, okay, ma-resize na ang ato ang column ana. Okay, you'll notice nga na-resize na to ang column D. Similarly, we have the same command or the same command of resizing sa ato ang row. So i-hover lang nato in between sa ato ang let's say row 2 and 3. So kana pwede na to na ma-resize. So we could also have a move selected. Okay, kung gusto nato nga i-move, let's say gusto nato ni i-move nga let's say ito sa na ibalik. So gusto nato ni i-move nga list, gusto nato ibutang sa G. What you can do is you hover on an edge. Okay, dili diri sa corner kay lahi na siya. You move here to the edge of the selection. Then you click and hold, then drop kung asa ninyo ibutang. Okay, so mao na ang ato ang move. If you want nga let's say kopyahon ninyo, okay, let's say nga dili ninyo wala ang diha but gusto mo magbutang po diri. So doing so, just click on you hold the control key. Okay, so while you're moving, okay, sabta, you click kana, then hold the control. You'll notice nga naay gamay nga plus. Okay, di kay maklaro. Okay, ito ang padakan. So hold the edge, then click on the control key sa inyong keyboard na ay gamay nga plus diha actually. If you're going to try this, then kung inyohan nang still holding control and holding the mouse one button, then i-release na ninyong duha, iyan ang kopyahon. Okay, then if you want to select let's say the entire column, okay, let's say gusto natin i-select tanan, what you can do is you hover your mouse in that column, in the middle of that column, tuplo ko lang, i-click niyo na once, it will select all the entire column. Okay, let's say column B, yan ang i-select na. So you can also do so ingana sa tuang column, sa tong row 2. So kana. So those are the different way your cursor behaves when you are using Excel. Next is formula. So a formula in Excel is essentially a calculation that you want that spreadsheet to contain and perform. Okay, So let's say we have here item, then sales, apples, bananas, grapes, lemons. 750, 470, 550. So we have here total, then VAT amount. Kana. Let's say you want to compute the total here, so we could simply start with a formula. So a formula in Excel always starts with an equal sign. Okay, then the actual calculation itself. Okay, so let's say we want to use a function. Okay, later on we'll discuss what a function is, but a function is like a convenient way of applying a formula to multiple sets of data. So in this case, if you want to sum, you can actually do it like this. Okay, by clicking, automatic na yan i-provide ang name. Okay, plus kana, plus kana, plus kana. You'll notice lahi po ng color. Once you press on enter, magpakita diha ang result. Na lang sa. Okay, we'll discuss a function later. Functions and formula are the same in a way that they always start with an equal sign. Okay, so this is your formula for retrieving the total of the sales. Okay, so cell references, we have, okay, a cell reference is when you are going to retrieve a value by calling the name of that cell. Okay, diba? What I meant by this is, let's say, diba, how did we get the total for this, diba? Ato ang gi-indicate ang ngalan sa mga cell nga nag-contain at ani nga mga data. Okay, so instead of doing it like this, diba, we could actually do it like this, plus 470 plus 590 plus 550, diba? It still achieves the same result. But if you're going to update, let's say himo na to ni og 850, what will happen is this is no longer the correct total. Kaya ang inyong magigamit nga formula is 750. It's what we call a constant na dayon. So a constant is an unchanged value or the default value. We do not want that in this case. We want nga regardless of the value here, ang iyahang basihan gyud is ang iyahang name dere, so that if you want to update the value here, so we want to achieve what we call automatic recalculation nga feature sa Excel, iyahan nang i-apply. So if you're going to use originally what we have intended to use, if we're going to change this, let's say muna to na og 689, so observe ni reflect po diha ang iyahang bago nga total. Okay, so kani when you are referencing a name as part of your formula, we call that a cell reference. Okay, but if you're going to, let's say, introduce a fixed number, okay, katong para sa kanina, let's say katong if you're going to use here let's say 75, kaning 75 dere is considered as a constant value. Okay, every time you're using this formula, this is always a value constantly of 75. Okay, arithmetic operator mao ni ang ato ang ginagamit if you want to convert or to transform data, in this case arithmetically, okay, adding these values. So of course we need to use the appropriate operator for that. So functions, okay, functions are very important components since this makes using, if you know how to use that function, it makes creating calculation more convenient. Okay, so diba we have used kani, let's correct this first. So okay ra siya initially if upat, what if daghan na kaayo. Let's say 100 na ka rows. Okay? So this could be time consuming. So what you can do is ingani, you could use a function that gets all the sum. If you want to get the total, so you use the sum function. So ingana, you use the word sum. Then inside here is the range of the cells that you want to perform the summation. So you just click and drag, then select. Essentially, you're highlighting the cells that you want to get the total of. So from B2 to B5, pwede po ninyo na i-type. Okay? So B2 colon B5. Okay? Still the same. So you could do that. Or pwede i-click ninyo, then colon kana. So para sa gihapon. So that is a function. So napod tayo mga, we have different functions here. Di na lang ako i-demonstrate. Siguro ba akong i-demonstrate is di na lang. Okay? You could do this on your own or you could research on this kay daghan kayo. Okay? Daghan kay nga function. One function we have already used is kaning sum. If you want to get the average, so napod tayo average nga function. Para average. So average ani is 669.75. Kana. So those are functions. So napod tayo order of precedence sa katong MDAS, katong nadumduman applicable gapon to dere. Okay? So reference operators, spaces. So it's actually well documented here. So kanina lang. Let's go on. Let's proceed to concatenation. Okay? So text concatenation is essentially addition by the characters, or it's not really adding in a value, but we are adding or we are merging text. So ito, let's say we have here first name, then last name. So let's say we have one. Let's create another column here, middle initial 1 D Cruz Maria F Clara Chris E, let's say Ibarra. Let's say you want as part of your formatting sa inyong document nga ato aning himuon nga full name. Okay? So what we can do is concatenate our text. Still, this is considered as a formula even though we are dealing with text. Formula is not really restricted to arithmetic operations. So, pwede po din nga ni text manipulation. So, di ba, usually we want nga iyahang atong pagsulat is, let's say, sometimes we want it to be ingani Cruz, comma, 1, D, period. Okay? Diba nga na? So, if you want to do that on all of these rows here, what you can do is use a formula for that. So, kana, equal sign. Gusto na to una ang last name, ana. Then, gusto na to sumpayan o comma. So, what you can do if you want to concatenate is use the ampersand operator. Okay? Then, unsa to idugang. So, in between quotes, ibutang nato kung unsa to ang itapot. So observe if ako aning i-enter. You'll notice nga ang nabutang diha is kung unsay content sa C2 which is kaning Cruz, then nagbutang siya og kaning comma. Dili ma-include ning quotations ha. Okay, in between quotations man ang i-concatenate. This is actually a constant nga string. This is how you're going to tell that that is a constant, string constant in Excel. So continuing, we could add, okay, ampersand. Sugod libog ni siya because of all these ampersand and columns, but through practice, okay, through familiarization, ma-distinguish na ninyo. Sunod, unsa mo to isumpay ang iyahang first name. So, kana. Then, ampersand, okay, space. Okay, we still need, okay, if di nila butangag space, you'll notice if ato lang diretso on og ampersand C2, not C2, but gusto natin butang dari ang yung middle initial, so that is actually B2. You'll notice ni tapot siya, okay, wala siya space, so we want nga butang na tog space. So one way of doing so is we add it here. So in between quotation gihapon. Then finally, i-add na to ang iyahang dot. So, pressing enter, una na siya. If you want to apply this, you can use the fill data. Remember, unsa tatong gi-discuss kanina katong filling of data. If you're using formula, by default, it will copy relatively the contents of the first cell, the formula of that first cell, i-apply niya dire. Relatively, what I meant by this is iyang tan-awon, di ba? Unsa to'y involved nga cell ani pag imo na to nga formula is kaning tulod dire yang tapad. If you're going to copy that here, nga na, iyahan nang i-predict kung unsa nga cells ang imong panggamiton. So since iyahang notice nga if kani gani nga cell nga na-select, then naanay formula diha, then kani nga mga cells ang inyong gipanggamit, automatically if you're going to fill the rest, iyahan nang i-follow nga pattern. Okay, that's why we arrive with this set of names here. Okay, so that is text concatenation. We also have absolute reference and relative reference, then mixed reference. Ang buot pasabot aning let's say absolute reference is gusto ninyo nga this is what we call relative referencing. Okay, since when you are going to move to copy, common na siya nga applicable when you're filling up data using this method kaning na cross diri nga itom nga gamay, then ato ang naon. Okay, so let's say we add an additional column here. Let's say kuha ni sila section section A na sila, or kanang let's say diamond section na sila. So kung gusto ninyo nga let's say i-concatenate, di ba? What I'm trying to say is gusto na to butangag diamond. Gusto na nako nga diamond, na butangan nga diamond sa last. Butangan na to og minus or dash diamond. Okay, di ba? Tato diha. Okay, gusto na ko na himuon dere sa ilahang duha sa kaning tulo. Okay, gusto na ko mabutang nga na using this reference here. So if I'm going to do it like this, what will happen is unsay nahitabo, ang wala niya it performed relative cell referencing. Ihayapon tong gi-follow tong pattern niya kung giingon kanina nga sa kaning nga formula, ang iyahang tan-awon nga mga cell is kaning iyahang tapad nga tulo o kaning diri yang iyahang adjacent diri nga cell. Okay, iha gyud i-follow gihapon if you're going to copy that relatively here. Tanawa, if ato ning i-select, ihaning gipili ang tulo niya nga tapad, then iha po ning gipili ang diri nga side. So ang sulod diri is wala, why sulod? Okay, that is also true here. So gusto nato nga we absolutely refer to this cell here. You can do so by placing $sign. Okay? So by placing a dollar sign, let's say gusto nito i-lock ang row, nga dili mo tarog ang row. Okay? Or you could locking man tawag natin, i-lock. If you want to lock a certain row for absolute referencing or specific column, so we use dollar sign. So kung butangan natin ng dollar sign before sa number 1, okay, let's see if ma-achieve na siya nga task. Okay, as you'll notice, nahimo na siya. Kay, iyang gihimo ani is, you are not allowing the cell to refer it, okay, more than the column here. So, ato i-lock diha, permitin niya diha i-refer. That is actually locking the row. Okay, if you want to lock the cell, so gusto po ito butangan diha og dollar sign. So that actually achieves the same purpose, but kani masigurado gyud nga diri ra gyud siya magtan-aw. Okay? So kana, I hope you get the idea. So that is cell referencing. This is absolute referencing kaning diamond nga part here. A mixed cell reference, actually mao na ni mix na ni siya kay nagamit na ta og relative og absolute. We know that we are using absolute referencing if na mga dollar sign. Okay, if you want to lock a certain row, then you put a dollar sign before that row number. If you want to lock a certain column, you put a dollar sign in that column. Or if you want to lock a specific cell na gyud, so butangan na niyo dollar sign ang duha. So pwede ingani, pwede ana, okay, pwede katong ganina nga ingani. Okay, of course this will behave differently if you are locking if you are using multiple cells na, but to make things simple, usa lang sa ka-cell atong ilock. Kana. So data validation, is just one way of limiting. Okay, let's say gusto nato nga i-limit nato ang contents ana nga cell for a certain set of value lang. Let's say normally we have, let's say we create here a gender. Okay, gender nga column, di ba? If you are not instructed well enough, you could either write here male for karang mga lalaki, biologically male nga person. Okay, male, pwede na ito patag M, pwede na ito patag lalaki. Let's say wala mo giingnan. Okay, so napag-iuban masayop og ingana, masayop og butang. So daghan kaayo, di ba? We could write different value for arriving with the same idea nga lalaki na siya or babae. So we could use data validation for that. So what we can do is, okay, you click on the cell here, then you click on data tools, then ay data validation. Okay, you click on data validation. So daghan tag mabutang diha. So by default it's any value, or you could create a list. Okay, so we could I think we could just write here kani, okay? We want to specify a list. Let's say list. Let's follow what is instructed here. Kani, okay? So we could just write here male, comma, female. Diba? So what will happen is, we want to apply this to kani. So data validation, man to. Nara, data validation list. Gusto na to nga male or female. Okay, we are going to write here the possible choices. There is a source. Okay, clicking on OK. Kana. So gusto na to butangan. Okay? You'll notice nga if dili, let's say dili male or female, magbutang siyang error. The value doesn't match, dili restriction. So, manay timailhan niya nga, okay? You need to enter there a specific set of value. Okay? Specific value that is being required. So, it's either male or female. So, you could actually click on this button here, ana, male. So, di na yung kama, sayop ana. This is very helpful if you want to arrange your data nga by gender. Okay? So, gusto nyo i-arrange nga kana kay male, kana kay female. So, you could do data validation. Okay? So, that ends our review or refreshing of our Microsoft Office application. So, hopefully, you get to learn additional knowledge. Okay? Most of these topics here are topics that are murag considered nga advanced application, but yet it's very commonly used, it's very practical, and it's very in a way efficient po sa inyong workflow if you're doing this in your let's say mga documents, yung mga spreadsheet application, nag inyong mga presentation. Okay, so kana, so thank you. Hopefully na demonstrate nato ang mga confusion, or we get to clarify the things that we need you want to be demonstrated sa ato ang libro. Okay? So that's all then. Thank you for watching. See you on the next set of lecture videos.